What a pleasure it is to welcome today's guest, a broadcasting titan. She's also a Sunday Times best-selling author. She's written a memoir, 2 novels, and fittingly hosts BBC Two's book club Between the Covers. What a great show that is too. It's back for its 8th season. We've got so much to discuss. Sara Cox, welcome to the top of the tower.
Hi, Ryan. Hello.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm good. It's beautiful out there. Finally, that disgusting cloud has gone that we've been living under for the past couple of weeks. So blue skies over land and ten.
I love it.
I went a bit cockney then, it happened.
But it happens around these parts, as you can appreciate. But also beautiful leaf-kicking territory at the moment.
Oh, well, it's taken a long time to walk my dogs because there must be so many incredible smells in those leaves. I dread to think what. So I let them have a good sniff because I saw something that said when you let your dogs really sniff on a walk, for them it's like reading a daily newspaper.
Wow, what a clever or nice way of putting it.
It's great, isn't it? So all the news, who's been knocking around, what's going on, it's all sniff. I mean, I let them sniff a bit the other day and then I looked down and my retriever was eating a lasagna that someone had just dumped in a pile of leaves. So I was like, okay, I need to focus a bit more.
Well, imagine the idea of the leaves and the telegraph poles, whatever, and they go home saying, "You'll never guess what I heard today. What I sniffed today. Great news."
Never guess who's been out and about on our
man's
street.
Been out again. The guy with that penchant for whatever
that
it might be.
That husky's been passed again.
Anyway, the bookshelf, I should say, Between the Covers is back.
Yes.
And
is the bookshelf your thing?
I'm afraid what a disgusting slip. I'm so embarrassed. Sorry, we were discussing
a new episode of the bookshelf. Is that your thing, right?
Yeah, landed this morning, Sarah. I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Sounds good, to be fair. I mean, it's dreamy, as you know yourself on the bookshelf, it's dreamy to talk about books. People love to come on Between the Covers because we get all these superstar guests and they never get asked about reading. They never get asked about books that they love.
That's the charm.
So they're excited to not have to talk about their latest project or whatever.
Most readers love to recommend.
Yes.
Don't they? I mean, it's evangelical. And
it's like food, it's like telly, it's like movies, it's like with any popular culture bit that you're into. It's lovely to recommend. And
it's not a flex. It's a sincere desire for you to. I think you'd like this book, or you should try this. It'll enrich you.
We do say that to our guests. We don't want anyone to come on and do a TED talk about the great literature that they've experienced. We want it to be relatable and we want it to be accessible and not intimidating, because people can get a bit intimidated talking about books. So they don't want to come on telly and feel a bit of a thicker. Leave that to me. You know what I mean? That's my job.
No, not far from it. And that's the thing about books and reading. It's very democratic in the sense that you can, books are free in the library and to borrow and or from friends or what have you. And also there's everything from crime fiction to the Booker Prize, which for me are very often too impenetrable. I can't take too much of that. So there's something for everyone. But
that's why in past series we've always had a Booker backlist, one that didn't win the Booker, but we wanted to shine a light on, and we always try to pick the one that ones that people are like, oh, I didn't think I'd be able to read a Booker. I didn't think it'd be for me. Yes. This series we're concentrating on one big new book, and then we've got a bit more time to chat about all the guest BYOBs.
I love to bring your own book, of course, and you've got. So why don't we talk by way of example? For example, so tonight's episode, you've got Nina Cherry, who I know you were buzzing about.
Look, she was my we've been saying her name slightly wrong. I've been calling her Nina Cherry for all these. It's Nena.
Oh, it's Nena.
I mean, who knew? So throughout the show, I was like, it's Nena. I mean, she's not precious at all. It's a bit Batman.
There you have it.
Wrong one.
That's how you remember it, though.
So I loved her when I was a teenager. I was fully obsessed with Nena Cherry. But she was absolutely lovely. She's got a book out. She's written a memoir recently, and she was an absolute joy to have on. We've got Tom Allen, who's a regular contributor to the show.
Yes.
And he's, as you know, he's just hilarious
he is.
and lovely. And
one of my
most favourite people. The brilliant Ollie Smith we have, who's known for talking about wine normally on Saturday Kitchen, but he loves reading. He's got a real superpower. He can read wherever, no matter what is going on around him. He can read and he can lose himself in a book. And Sophie Rayworth, obviously newsreader, marathon woman.
Yeah. I sat beside her at a lunch a few weeks ago. And
did she run there? Did you notice?
No, she didn't run there, but we did talk a bit about the running thing. But what we did begin to really buzz off was books and reading, because she has her Instagram is called like Read by or Reading by Rayworth or what have you. So she's a real bookworm. She loves
really
it.
is. She's thinking. We were talking. One of the questions tonight is about if we were talking about if you'd write your own memoir, because Tom Allen's written 2 memoirs which are fantastic. He's a great writer. Nena's got hers out. Ollie's written sort of books on wine, and Sophie was saying, maybe she would, but she'd worry about how honest to be, which is great, because then you think, what secrets has Sophie Rayworth got?
All of a sudden it's kind of started with going, wait a minute.
Maybe it's a PR ploy, but she's planting that seed now. Like, she's got wild stories.
Sarah, wait there on that bombshell. Can you hang on for a few minutes?
Absolutely.
More to come with Sara Cox. Stay with us. We'll park that bit of the conversation, move back to what we were talking. We were just shooting the breeze off air about different things. What are you reading at the moment? Have you anything good on the go?
Well, actually, I've just finished Vanessa Feltz's memoir.
How's that?
It's really interesting, because it is like she's in the room with you. I mean, come on, she's a force of nature, that
sure
woman.
Is.
And it's great. It's a great story. She talks about the Yiddish chorus that she had growing up, drumming things into her, questioning her every move. It's it's pretty serious, really, sort of, kick-starting issues with food and around eating and disordered eating. And in amongst all that, I mean, she's really truthful in it. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure read, but it's a great read. She writes brilliantly. But I'm working through John Boyne's back catalogue, so that's my...
Is it one of your favourites?
One of my absolute favourites. So I think I must have read 6 or 7 of his.
Yeah, they're great.
So I've just started The Thief of Time.
Lovely.
But my e-reader's in the other room. I was going to get it to check, because I forget what books I've read. This is why, bit of a plug-a-rooney. Let me get my little plug crowbar.
No.
This is why, Between the Covers is great tonight, BBC 2, 7 o'clock.
But also your own
because
books.
Because you do kind of, you forget, what you've read and what you want to, it's good just to get a bit of a steer on what to go for next. Yeah, my own books, I don't manage to recommend on Between the Covers. That'd be nice.
But do it now.
Thank you. Yeah, Way Back is out now. It's my 3rd book, my 2nd novel. It got to number 2 in the Sunday Times.
That's amazing. How does that make you feel?
Oh my God, over the moon, and every second and minute, because it's when you're writing, it's on your mind the whole time. And when you're supposed to be writing but you're not, because you're in the bath or you're walking the dogs or you're out for Sunday roasts with the kids, you think, I should be writing. So when the book comes out and it's well received and it's had lovely reviews, then it just means the absolute world. But I'm a bit funny, because you spend so long with these books that once they're out, I'm like dusting my hands off. I'm like, right, it's out now. And then I should think, I should still tell people about it.
Should.
That's the other bit you've got to do. So yeah, it's called Way Back. And it's the story of Josie, who leaves behind her nice middle-class London life to go and take over her former childhood farm.
What a beautiful idea for a story, but then to get it out into a book is just...
basically invented hot farmers to
snog. Hang on a sec. Rivals is all the talk now. This could be
Oh,
Rivals
come
2.0. You could be the next.
I mean, that'd
You
be...
could be next.
Oh, that'd be the dream, wouldn't it?
this
To be
on
the next Jilly. What a legend she is.
Your career, Sarah, has been so storied and successful, and you're really beloved, and you're really well... God, I notice talking to people, whenever your name comes up, their eyes brighten and they say really nice things about
That
you.
is very... Not family members, even beyond my family members.
Most people, and a couple of dogs I met on the street had a few, literally the dogs in the street are talking about you as they sniff their daily news. And then you get into the writing thing, and then on top of everything, it's a very different temperament required for that, but it's also a very different type of success, if you like. Can you describe how... Do you enjoy one more than the other, or are they just totally different meals?
They're just totally different, and that's, I think, why I love it so much, because you do just use a different bit of your brain. Look, I really loved English literature at A level and stuff. I never went to uni because I went off to find my fortune in the world of poor quality modelling, and then fell into telly and all that. So I never got to go to uni, but I definitely would have loved to have done English at uni. If
Would you go back? Would you do a mature student thing? I think you should.
You know what?
I think you'd love it.
Funny you should ask that. It's not quite going to uni, but when I took my GCSEs, I wasn't allowed to do drama and art because they were both creative subjects. So I plumped for drama. And so I've always been disappointed that I did that. And now in January, I'm starting an arts class, which is I've wanted to do for years. And I think it's something to do with my age now. I'm 50 next month. And I think you suddenly get a feeling, well, the kids are a bit bigger. you feel a bit less nurturing and a bit more like, you know what, I want to do some stuff for me, thanks very much.
Yeah.
So, every Monday night I'm going to be going, Monday daytime before the radio, I'm going to be popping and doing like 3 hours of art.
Do you know what? You sound so like my sister, Rachel. She did something during COVID like that, took up art. I didn't know she had an artistic bone in her body. She's an extraordinary talent, just like you're going to... But you know what? It's a release, and I think you're going to do the same thing, and you'll find, I want more of this. What is this?
Yeah, I think...
And you could end up doing something more academic.
I think learning stuff, I think is just great to just, There was a great... Armando Iannucci did this great random podcast once that I heard, and it was about if you learn new things, it's so good for your brain because it drops little markers in your brain, and it makes time go a bit slower because you're learning new stuff. And the brilliant Dr. Michael Mosley as well.
Yes, the late.
I did the voiceover for one of his TV shows, which he didn't get to do the voiceover because sadly he passed away.
Yes.
And that was all about learning new stuff is so good for your brain. So that's what I'm banging to at the moment.
If you're curious, you're happy. I'm sure of it. And we'll go to the grave learning.
Yeah,
and that's the lesson. Sarah, what a pity we have to say goodbye for now.
I know, it's so lovely to see you,
I hope we
Ryan.
do it again.
By the way, when you said that Glastonbury isn't on,
I made a mistake.
I was like,
I'm having a beautiful day at the office today.
I was literally on the tube like, what the what? I totally believed you. Then I heard you go, oh no, actually, it's the year.
If you're saying it with passion, it's true. So if you're wondering, I cancelled Black Glastonbury earlier on, but I'm glad to tell you it's back on because Sarah told us to uncancel. Because I had read something about the fallow period.
Yes. I totally believed you, even though I knew that tickets had been out and everything. Very funny.
Are between the covers tonight at 7 o'clock on BBC Two, but also people should get way back when they're going to the bookshop or ordering on the Kindle or whatever, because that'll enhance your life as well. I'm happy for your success in the literary world as in every other facet of your life, and thanks for being so lovely.
Lovely to see you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, love.
Virgin Radio.